Hello, hello. Welcome back to another podcast episode here at the Live School. I'm your host, Elona Labari, speaking to you live on today's podcast episode from Cafe Lounge here in Brooklyn, New York, 210 Kings Highway. Stop by, grab a free tea, coffee, and let's have a conversation. In today's episode, as I'm grabbing my tea, I want to talk about the importance of really processing our feelings. I find that right now it might be a sensitive time. Not only if you're an empath, but also if you're just any human being, to be able to process lots of negative feelings, uncertainty that's going on personally, professionally, and also in the world, and the importance of really feeling these feelings through and really not understanding what's on the other side, so that we can process this information, but also most importantly, heal the things that need to be healed, so that we don't really go through the circles of have the patterns repeat and have a lot of those things show up in other ways to pretty much hurt us or really hurt the quality of our life. I have personally learned that our emotional health or my emotional health is the most important thing that I have. And personally, I have struggled with feeling my feelings all the way through for many years. So because I've been more intentional and I have understood the importance of really processing negative feelings correctly or thoroughly, so to speak, rather than just distract myself, I just want to share with you what I've learned as far as what is the process that we could follow to be able to do so. So any negative feeling that comes up, anything that is really bothering you will really show up most of the time somewhere in your body. For me, it shows up as a knot in my stomach. For other people, it could show up in their chest. For other people, it could show up in their shoulders as pressure. So you pay attention to your body and where that negative feeling shows up. And then usually once you focus on where the feeling is, the next thing is to be aware around the story around the feeling, right? What is it that, or the thought that hides behind this feeling? Because after every feeling, there is a story that connects to that. And usually the story that we tell ourselves is not empowering. It's something that we are negatively feeding ourselves, or it's a fear-based thought, or it's a thought that has stemmed from some trauma that we have gone through in our childhood. So once we focus on the feeling, feel it, where is it in our body, the next step is to be able to stay with that, stay with the uncomfortable feeling until it starts to kind of go through the process of getting quieter and getting better. Just like the in an ocean, the waves of the ocean, right? Maybe at the beginning they're very heavy, but then eventually, as we feel our feelings, they start to become a little bit better and they go more in flow. Once that is happened, then the next thing is to watch that story, right? To really see where the story is coming from, connect it with the memory that is really coming up based on the story that you're telling yourself, and see if you can process through that memory. And usually what this stuff is really some trauma and inner child work, meaning you meeting yourself at that phase and stage wherever the memory is taking you, and giving yourself an empathy, being yourself's best friend. It's always easier for us to be other people's best friends but not ourselves. So when you meet your story or wherever you are in that phase of your memory with empathy, then you could start to give yourself the things that you needed at that phase and stage of your memory, however, whatever shows up for you. And that empathy, that feeding yourself and giving yourself what is it that you needed is really the key or the secret to be able to start healing, calm your nervous system down, and then start the process of really getting comfortable and confident with handling uncomfortable feelings. And again, what happens with that eventually is that you start to become comfortable with the process, but also most importantly, through the healing process, those things don't show up again and bother you somewhere else in your life. Because I'm sure you have seen that the things we don't deal with show up in other ways. So tackling these things right away is just going to make your journey easier. Or the other thing that I've seen also personally is that if we don't process our feelings, it shows up in other things that we do that might hurt us, meaning maybe you're overeating or you're over drinking or you're overworking. So it'll show up in other toxic behaviors, and it will not let you really make the progress that you're looking for in your personal life. It's kind of all I had for you today. I think the process of feelings for most people is complicated because we're never really taught to be in touch with our bodies and feelings. But what I've shared with you is definitely a process that I think is more practical for those of you that are looking for something like that. And just like anything with enough practice, you definitely get to improve it and get comfortable with the process. As usual, if you are looking for support, with anything that's keeping you stuck personally and professionally, definitely reach out and we'll be able to have a conversation as to how is it that I can further support you with getting unstuck and really scaling personally and professionally. Thanks so much for watching the Life School Masterclass show. Don't forget to share, subscribe, and leave us a review. I'll see you in another episode.